Something about this doesn't add up. A judge steps down while facing serious misconduct accusations, and then gets hired as a prosecutor by the same office tied to one of the most high-profile political cases in the country. We're being told this is routine, but the facts point somewhere else. The story we're hearing is straightforward. The Fulton County District Attorney's Office, led by Fani Willis, has brought back Shermala Williams as a prosecutor. They describe her as experienced, capable, and committed to justice. On paper, it sounds like a return of a seasoned attorney to public service. But here's the issue. Williams didn't just quietly leave the bench. She resigned while under investigation for judicial misconduct. And these weren't minor complaints. We're talking about allegations of jailing a young witness without legal authority, trying to influence a case involving a family member, having improper communications outside the courtroom, and delaying rulings in sensitive family cases. That's where things start to fall apart. Because when someone leaves a judicial position under that kind of cloud, the expectation isn't that they immediately step into another powerful legal role, especially one that involves prosecuting others. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and subscribe. Please support the channel by liking the video. We need your support to keep bringing you news like this. Now let's walk through this step by step. First, Williams was elected as a judge in 2020. Her role focused on family law, divorce, custody, cases that directly affect people's lives. That's a position that requires trust, precision, and fairness. Then, the complaints begin to surface. Not one, but multiple. And they point to a pattern, not just a single mistake, but repeated concerns about judgment and conduct. Now here's the important part. Before those issues could fully play out through the judicial system, she resigns in February 2026. That effectively ends the formal process of accountability tied to her role as a judge. And here's where it gets interesting. Shortly after, she's hired by the District Attorney's Office, the same office that has already been under scrutiny for its own decisions. Now watch what happens next. This isn't the first time that office has faced questions about judgment. Back in 2021, Fani Willis brought in Nathan Wade as a special prosecutor in the case involving Donald Trump and alleged election interference. That case centered on a phone call where Trump asked Georgia's Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, to find enough votes to change the outcome. But then, the case took a turn. An attorney representing one of the defendants uncovered a personal relationship between Willis and Wade. That raised serious questions about conflict of interest. Eventually, higher courts declined to step in to support Willis, and she was removed from the case. Then the charges themselves were dropped. So when you put that together, a prior controversial hire, a major case collapsing, and now a former judge under investigation being brought in as a prosecutor, it starts to form a pattern. And that leads to one conclusion. This isn't just about one hiring decision, it's about judgment, it's about standards, and it's about who is being trusted with power inside the justice system. This matters because prosecutors hold enormous influence. They decide who gets charged, how cases move forward, and in many ways, how justice is applied. When questions surround the people in those roles, it affects public trust. And here's what this actually means. People aren't just looking at individual actions anymore. They're looking at the system itself, how decisions are made, who gets second chances, and whether accountability is consistent across the board. So the real question is, what standard are we using? Is it based on merit and integrity, or on connections and convenience? And that's what people should be paying attention to. If you're following this and want to help this channel grow,